The COVID-19 pandemic has made an unprecedented impact on FFA's work. The immediate impact relates to our frontline workers in the tuna industry, our fisheries observers on fishing vessels, who collect critical data for science and compliance. The resulting border closures, travel restrictions, and social distancing have compelled our fisheries officials to take certain decisions on specific operational requirements, namely to do with the use of fisheries observers on vessels and also in the monitoring of transshipment of catch between vessels in port and at sea. Their paramount consideration is the safety and health of our people. At the same time, our fisheries officials have been working diligently and intensively to balance this with the important need to minimize disruption to fishing operations and the associated benefits. And the benefits are significant. Contributions to GDP and government revenue are at record highs. Contribution to GDP is around $500 million a year. Contribution to government revenue is in excess of $535 million a year. For 6 of our members, this equates to more than 25% of their government revenue, excluding grants. For 2 of our members, this is more than 2/3 of their government revenue. The tuna fishery sector also provides more than 22,000 jobs for Pacific Islanders. It provides food security, and in a global sense, it provides 1/3 of the world's supply of tuna. This comes from our FFA members' waters, and in particular from the parties to the Nauru Agreement, a sub-regional grouping amongst our members. So from a national, sub-regional, regional, and international perspective, it's really important to continue these fishing operations and to continue the flow of benefits to our members. This is fundamental, especially with the financial downturn that has been created by the COVID-19 pandemic. There are 3 operational challenges. The first challenge is the requirement for a Presen vessel to carry a fisheries observer on board at all times. Now, with the travel restrictions and also the call by several observer programs to repatriate their observers, this has made it very difficult for Presen vessel operators to comply with that requirement. So our members have agreed to temporarily suspend this requirement. The second challenge is with the requirement that a Presen vessel must transship its catch in port. Now, with the port closures, this has also made it very difficult for Presen vessel operators to comply. So our members have decided that coastal states will determine an area at sea within which this transshipment can take place. The third challenge is to do with the requirement for vessels other than Presen vessels, such as a longline vessel. They are allowed to tranship at sea, but they must have an observer on board to monitor this activity. Now again, with the unavailability of observers, this makes it difficult for those operators to meet this requirement. So our members have determined that they will temporarily suspend this requirement as well within their waters. These decisions are the bases that our members have used to go to the Western Central Pacific Fisheries Commission to push for compatible measures in the areas outside of our waters. And these are decisions that are not taken lightly by our membership. But what has shone through these challenging times is the determination of our membership to work together and the resilience and adaptability of our Pacific people. It's important that whilst these temporary measures are in place, to recognise that they do not sit in isolation. They sit within the broader world-class leading framework for fisheries management and monitoring, control and surveillance that has been developed by our members in the last 40 years and have included a suite of tools. These types of tools include boarding and inspection, transshipment declarations, vessel logbooks, vessel monitoring system, which help to provide the much-needed data for science and compliance. One positive from the situation is that it provides an impetus for prioritizing additional tools for the independent verification of data, such as electronic monitoring and electronic reporting. But I have to say that the overriding positive from this whole situation is the continued determination of our members to work together in order to succeed. Notwithstanding that there are temporary measures in place in response to the COVID-19 pandemic, maximizing benefits, combating illegal fishing, for regional solidarity remain the pillars for FFA's work.